So today we're going to do the handover video on the Bailey Adamo 754i. We're going to start on the outside and then we're going to move on to the inside. So firstly, coming over to the passenger side, you have got your fill-up points which are just located here. To access them, simply open up the passenger door. You can see that you've got your diesel in point there, and then underneath that, just swing the door open. You'll notice you've got your AdBlue, which is just there. Your AdBlue's all been topped up, but you will get a warning symbol on the dash just to indicate when that is due to be topped up. Whilst on the passenger side, you'll notice you've got your reversing camera up at the top there, and this is on the auto gearbox, which is also the 170 bhp from Ford. To access underneath the bonnet, all you need to do with the Ford, you'll notice you've got a little key point here. You need to take your key like so, put it in like so, turn it just to release the bonnet, and then using two hands, all you need to do is lift this up and turn it to the right, and that will release the bonnet entirely. I'll do that now. I'll put the bonnet up and just show you the things underneath the bonnet. Now, to be honest, there's not many things that you need to know underneath here. The main things that you need to know is obviously if you're jump starting the vehicle. If that is the case, your positive goes straight onto this positive terminal here as indicated by the little cap. Flick that up and that will give you access. And then your negative, as indicated by the sticker, just connects onto this little ring there, that metal ring, and that's your negative. As I say, they're the main things that you need to know. But whilst the bonnet is still open, you're underneath here. You have your engine coolant. You've then got your brake disc fluid on this side, along with your engine oil and a dipstick below. The washer fluid is just there as well, and that concludes everything underneath here. Coming over to the driver's side now, you'll notice you've got your aerial, which has been fitted up at the top, and then on this side you have got your gas locker. With your gas locker, I'll open that up for you now. Once open, you'll see that you've got space for 2 gas bottles. I'd recommend getting 2 6 kg bottles in here. And you can see on your regulator you've got a pigtail. Using your pigtail, that'll allow you to connect the regulator with the gas bottles, turn the gas bottles on, and then that will allow you to feed the gas through. Now, when you are travelling, please make sure that you have turned the gas off at the bottle, just for health and safety. Ensure that they are obviously closed. Moving on and away from the gas bottles, on this side you'll notice you've got a vent. This is your truma vent for your truma boiler system. As indicated, it does get very hot, this, so don't hang anything on here. As I say, it does get very hot, bear that in mind. Underneath there directly you have got a drain down point for your wastewater. Pull this little lever here and that will empty the entire wastewater. Now, you have 3 main drain down points in the vehicle. You have the fresh water, which is on the inside of the vehicle. You have the drain down point for the boiler system, which again is on the inside of the vehicle. And then finally, as shown, you've got your wastewater, which is external to the vehicle. Now, on site you'll have a massive grid that you need to drive over, so you can open up all these systems and drain down the entire system. Now, regarding these drain down points, what I typically recommend is when you've drained down the majority of the water, once you've done that, leave them open, because as you're travelling home, the vibrations of the water, or the road rather, are going to get all that water out of the tank, so there's no residual water remaining. Next, moving to the back, you've got your garage area here. I'll open this up for you now. This is just to gain you access to a bit of your storage. And in the back, you've got your infill cushions for your front makeup bed. You've got your Bailey pack in here, concealing your hookup cable and also your pigtail, along with your carpets and things like that. You have also got tie down points here for bungee cord, along with a drain down point if you're storing anything wet in there. At the back, there's not much to the back, but you've got provisions for a bike rack along with a reversing camera up at the top. Moving over to this side of the vehicle, you'll notice that you've got your awning on here. With your awning, you do need to be careful. As you can imagine, if it is a windy day, this is like having a massive sail on the side of the vehicle. So as I say, if it is windy, I'd take it back in, because you don't want that blowing off, potentially ripping off the vehicle and damaging the vehicle and harming someone. So if it is windy, take that back in, just wind it in. Now, you have got a warning pole in here, which will allow you to connect up to the little hook up at the top. From there, you can wind it out to a point where you can reach it, and there's 2 legs concealed in there. Drop the legs down, let them take the weight of the awning, and then simply walk it out. Do the vice versa, obviously, when you're taking it in as well. Next, you have then got your fill up point for your fresh water. This system is a whale system, as indicated there. Whale is extremely good. It means that you've got a little pump which connects onto there, comes with the vehicle, connects into there, and then connects onto your tap on the inside of the, on site. Once you've done that, obviously unscrew the tap so all the water can flow through, go in the vehicle and turn your pump on. What that'll do is it'll suck water into the system and fill up your fresh water that way. Obviously once it's full, it'll stop sucking in, and then you are good to go, and you can go find your pitch. On certain smarter sites, you can buy an adapter which will allow you to plug straight into this, into the main water feed, so whatever water you use, it's instantly put back into the tank. You can also subsequently get an aqua roll to allow you to feed that in there. Moving backwards, you've then got your cassette toilet, which is just here on the side. I'll open that up for you now. So with the cassette open, it's really easy to remove. All you've got to do is pull up on this lever and remove like so. Now the main thing to remember with the cassette is that the blade on the toilet is always closed. If that blade is open, this will get stiff and it'll be very difficult to remove. Some people do tend to remove that and continue to pull. What that will do is rip the cassette open and break it, and it's not a cheap fix. So do bear that in mind. So always make sure that the blade on the toilet is closed before removing. I'll pull this cassette out now, put it on the floor, and I'll show you how to drain it down. So with the cassette pulled out, you can see it's really simple to empty. All you've got to do, turn that funnel and remove the cap. Using the orange little button on the back which releases the vacuum, click that in, and as I say, that will release the vacuum to ensure all the water can pour out steadily. Once you've done that, put a bit of water in there just to swill it out, and then you can reattach the cap, turn the funnel and pop it back in. You can actually put your blue fluid straight into here as well. Put it straight in the cap. Don't put it down the toilet because you'll stain it. So put it straight into that cap, send it into the cassette. You'll notice you have got another option here, which is like another button which turns. This is in essence what connects with the blade on the cassette and opens and closes the cassette. Please ensure that that is always in that position. You shouldn't need to turn that or anything. It should always be in that position to allow you to remove it and put it back in. If that is slightly off center or you move it, the cassette isn't going to go in, and again you could break it. So please make sure you don't touch that and it stays in that position. Moving back, you've then got your fridge vents on this side of the vehicle. Now obviously this is where the fridge pulls all of its air from, so if it's a hot day and you've got the sun beating on this side of the vehicle, I'd be tempted to pull the awning out just to give it a bit of shade, just to help it, but bear that in mind. And then just in front of the habitation door, you've got your hookup point for your 230 volt electric. So obviously when you are on site, your 230 volt just goes into there. So moving on from the outside of the vehicle into the main body of the vehicle. Notice on your habitation door you've got a fly screen along with a blackout blind on the window. That goes for all of your windows. You've got fly screens and blackout blinds included. And then moving up and up above the fridge, you've got your control panel. For your control panel, you've got your main button here. Click that and that activates all your 12 volt and activates everything in the vehicle. You can see that your lights are on at the moment. On this side, you've then got your operational buttons, which, as indicated, will turn your lights on and off. You've then got a second button which indicates a light on the outside of the vehicle, which is your awning light. And then finally, you have a pump button, which is a little tap. Click that. That will activate the pump on and off. Now, please make sure that you turn your pump on only when you've got fresh water in the system and it's full. You don't want to be running the pump off when you've got no water in the system, because you'll simply burn it out and subsequently break it. So please bear that in mind. Now, coming back to your pump, click that on once you've got fresh water in the system. Go to all of your taps, turn them to on and turn them to hot. What that's going to do, and this goes for your shower as well, what that'll do is it'll pull fresh water from the fresh water tank into the boiler system and out of your tap. It's going to spurt and splutter initially, and then when it's running steadily, you've primed your system for your hot water. Once you've done that, flick it over to cool, do the exact same, and as I say, once it's running steadily, you've primed your system. Now, with regards to your taps, you can actually leave all that on. each tap is your pump on rather. Each tap has got a micro switch which will activate and deactivate the pump whenever you need it. So you can leave your pump on, you're not going to burn it out because you've water in the system. As I say, the only time you need to be conscious of that and to turn your pump off is if you've got no water in the system. Now the reason I tell you to do it on hot first, or to turn it on to hot first to pull the water through, is to prime the boiler first. Now as you can appreciate, your hot water isn't instant in this vehicle. It's going to take up to 30 to 40 minutes to get that water hot. So with that in mind, if you arrive on site, get water in the vehicle, if you turn all your taps on to hot to get that water into the boiler, it's going to give it a chance to heat up. So by the time you've got everything prepped and you're ready for your hot water, it will be up to temperature. So bear that in mind. Coming back up to the control panel here, you can see that you've got your time displayed here, and running through the options using the buttons here, you've got your settings panel. You've then got the fill tank. This is what I was mentioning outside with the whale system, so if you're filling up your water tank. You've then got a battery select, so if you wanted you can select it on your leisure battery or your vehicle battery to run all your lights. Always keep that on leisure, never ever run it off your vehicle battery because you'll just drain it. You've then got your waste level, we've got 7% in, so not much. Your water level for your fresh water is 0. And then external temperature it gives me, along with the internal temperature. Leisure current, along with the voltage for the vehicle, and then the leisure voltage for your leisure battery. To select your settings or any option, click this little button on the inside, and that'll allow you to change through the options. It's dead simple. Coming down here, you'll then notice you've got a little switch here. That will allow you to put the table up or down, like so. So click that for that. You've then got a USB 12 volt charger there, along with some buttons here to turn on and off your lights around the vehicle. Coming down, you've then got your Thetford fridge. Your Thetford fridge is a 3-way fridge, and the reason they call it that is there's 3 ways to power it. Your first way is your 230 volt, as indicated by the little plug sign there. That is a 230 volt, so when you're on site, you're going to run it off that. Your 12 volt is next, and that's a little leisure battery. You're going to run it off that when you're travelling. And then finally, your little gas symbol or flame symbol indicates gas, and that means when you are travelling, when you're wild camping, you can run it off your gas when you're wild camping. Now, a lot of people typically think that they can run the fridge off the 12 volt system when they are wild camping. However, that is not the case. The reason for that is you'd simply drain the vehicle of all of its power, because it just drains so much power, the fridge. Hence why it'll only allow you to run it off your gas when wild camping. Now, you can only run it off your 12 volt, as I say, when you're travelling. The reason for that is you have got a built-in alternator with this vehicle, which is in essence going to send charge straight to the leisure battery through an alternator, which will ultimately power the fridge and send a constant feeder charge to it. That'll therefore allow you to heat or to cool the fridge rather. You've then got an option of changing your temperature here, and then you've then got the fridge level along with the option of venting the air. You will notice you have got an A button as well here. That stands for auto, and I personally recommend selecting the auto because that will automatically assign whichever power or fuel you've got to the fridge, so you don't have to figure out what you've got. So it's really simple. Now, for example, if you by some accident knock it off the auto and you select a fuel that you haven't got, you'll get an error code on here. That's where you need to, in essence, reset the fridge. To turn the fridge on and off, you've got a power button here, and to flick through the options, you've 2 switches here. To select is the little square button, like so. With the fridge open, you've got your freezer up at the top here, along with your fridge below. Your fridge, or your fridge in general, does a very good job at maintaining the temperature, but doesn't do the best of jobs at getting the fridge down to temperature, or something down to temperature. So what I recommend is, if you want cooled things to be in the fridge, put cooled things in, and if you want frozen things to be in the freezer, put frozen things in. That way you're going to ensure that it's going to maintain that temperature. Now opposite, you've got your kitchen area. You've got your sink here, along with your oven and grill, which are just combined, like so. You have an electric ring on here, along with 3 gas, as you can see. So it's dead simple. Up at the top, you've got your cupboards, So in there you got really good amounts of storage, along with a cutlery drawer here. You have got a bit of storage as well underneath here, along with some grey taps as well. Them grey taps are dotted around the vehicle, here, there and everywhere, and they're just isolator taps. So please bear that in mind. You shouldn't need to turn them. They're just for technicians who work on your vehicle. So do bear that in mind. Now coming up to the control panel, here you've got your second control panel, and this is for your heating. This uses a Truma heating system, dead simple to use. Click the button in the middle, using the dial you can flick through the options. First you've got your vehicle temperature. Firstly you can take it up to 30 degrees if you wanted, like so, and that will then pump air and heat the vehicle. You've then got your water temperature, so you can run it off Eco, Hot or Boost. Eco is approximately 40 degrees, Hot is approximately 70 degrees, and Boost will in essence concentrate on heating that system. So instead of heating the vehicle, it'll concentrate on heating the actual water. You can do the same for the vehicle heating, it'll just work vice versa. Obviously, you're going to run it off your Eco when you're showering and Hot when you're washing up. You've then got your fuel. So you can run it off gas, mix 1, which is a mixture of gas and 1 kilowatt electric, mix 2, which is a mixture of gas and 2 kilowatt electric, EL1, which is just 1 kilowatt electric, EL2, which is 2 kilowatt electric. So you have a few options there depending on what your situation is on site. You've then got your option of your fan speed for your vehicle heating. Now at the moment, because I've nothing selected, it's just giving me the option of vent. But if I was to select one of these fuels, it would also give me the option of high or boost. High is a more intense fan, and obviously boost, as I've discussed, will concentrate on heating the vehicle rather than heating the actual water. So coming back, underneath all this, you have also got a timer, so you can set a timer should you want. You've got your clock as well, so you can change that. And then finally your settings. In your settings, there's not many things that you need to know. The main thing is the reset button, and you can reset the system like so. If you're resetting it, the main reason you're going to need to do that is, for example, if you've selected a fuel that you haven't got. This typically occurs when you've, let's say you're on site, you're hooked up, but you've no gas in the vehicle, and you try and run the system off gas. Obviously, it's trying to power the vehicle using something that it's not got. You'll therefore get an error code on here, which will flash up in a triangle. If that happens, you need to go to that reset button, click it. That will reset the panel. Once you've done that, you need to wait approximately 20 minutes just for the entire system to reset. Please do bear in mind that you need to always turn this system off when unplugging and change it and going off site. So just do that before moving on. Coming away from the kitchen area and into your locker space, you've got 2 lockers here. That's mainly for storage. In here, vastly for storage, but you'll notice you have got your aerial fitted here. Your aerial's dead simple. You've got a blue button on there which is lighting up at the moment to indicate that it's on. There's a little switch on the top of there which can turn it on and off. So do make sure that that's on. This will only work with your panel switched on as well. Turn that on so you can get a blue light. You have got a little dial to change obviously the range, but then coming up here using a little screw cap on the top, all you need to do is simply unscrew that and push this pole up. You can then tighten it into position, and then using the little arm on the end, that will allow you to obviously tilt the head of the aerial. So you can change the direction and manipulate the tilt of the aerial just to improve your signal. So it's dead simple and dead easy, and it's all there. Now in the front, you've got your 2 flip-up chairs. They're really, really simple. Underneath here, just by removing this, you'll notice you've got the back of a chair. You then need to turn this to release it, and using 2 hands, turn that and then pull the back of the seat up. And then using these seats, or these cushions, they just simply go where they need to on the travelling seat, just to form that forward-facing seat. It's the same for this side as well. And as I say, if you did want to, this area will drop, this table rather, so you could use it either as a coffee table, or if you was travelling with 4 people and you wanted to sleep 4, this will drop all the way down, and you can put your cushions there, as you saw in the garage. So coming into the back, you've got your shower on this side, and your bathroom is just on the other side here. Using the dividing door, that just allows you to separate the space, which is a nice touch. And in here, as I say, we've discussed about your tap, but the main thing to discuss is your toilet cassette. So your toilet cassette, as I've mentioned, you've got this blade on your toilet. This is the silver blade. Push it away from you to open the cassette. Once you've done that, all the waste can then drop into the cassette, and you can then press this blue button, which will activate the flush. Once you've done that, it'll activate everything and wash the system, and you can then close the blade like so. You close the blade for two reasons. The main reason being is it stops odours from escaping, and the second reason, it gets you into the habit of having that closed, so every time you come to remove the cassette to empty it, it's always in the closed position. So you don't run into the issue of it snapping or subsequently breaking. Now coming back up to the flush, it's one thing to mention that, as I say, it's this blue button, and you need to make sure that you have your pump on to activate that. And you can see we've got a little red light on there. That indicates that the cassette is full. It's currently got water in there, hence why it's reading this. But it's just so you know, once you get this red light, you need to empty it. Now, as we mentioned, outside you have got your waste water drain down point, but I just thought it'd be worth mentioning. Underneath here, if you remove the hatch, you've got a bit of storage, along with an access hatch. And a point here, just if you wanted to clean out the wastewater tank. Just remove these hatches, remove the tops, and you can clean out that tank. You don't really need to do this, as you're never, drinking out of this, but do bear that in mind, that's where it is located. Now coming into the bedroom area, directly underneath the bed, you have a bit more storage, which is a good bit of storage up at the top, as you can see. Now, located underneath, I've just removed that access hatch. You can see you've got your fresh water drain down point, or fresh water tank rather. As I mentioned, located in here is the fresh water drain down point. Now all you need to do to remove that is simply unscrew this red cap, like so, and as you can see, there's a little chain attached with a bung on the inside. Pull that out, and that'll allow you to drain down the entire freshwater system. Now draining down, you need to ensure that the entire vehicle is drained down when travelling off site, to ensure that you're not travelling with water, and most importantly, you don't get any frozen water in the system. And it's all done through there. Now you can obviously clean this system out as well and put purifying tablets in there, but I personally wouldn't recommend drinking out that freshwater tank due to the chemicals from the plastic. Now either side the bed you've got a bit of storage space, and on each side you have got access points in the boiler drain down. The main boiler is in here, and that's just for the technicians. However, the drain down point is on the other side, which I'll show you now. So through removing this infill point here, you can see it gains you access to the little yellow switch, which is all the way down here, as you can see. Now in the up position, it means that it's open, and if you flick that down, that will close the system. So open, up is open, down is closed, and that is for your boiler drain down. You need to always make sure that is up in the up position when travelling off site. And equally, when you're stationary and using the vehicle with water in, you need to make sure that is closed and down. So it's dead simple. Just make sure that is always drained down, obviously, especially in the winter months, because you don't want frozen water in the system. But it's all located there. Now I've moved just back into the lounge just to conclude the video. Underneath here is an access hatch for your leisure batteries, and as you can see on the other side here, you have got your trip box along with your fuses just underneath the seats here. So if the vehicle ever trips, you can come to this point. So that concludes the handover video on the 754i. I hope you enjoyed.